Design Salvation, episode 58.
This is Design Salvation, your lifeline to better design with Dixie and Annie. Our mission is to share our conversation with you so we can all elevate our work and lifestyle. Welcome to the fold.
Hey y'all, it's Dixie Stark.
And Annie Lundquist.
We are Design Salvation.
We're ready to chat today. We can't wait.
I know, this is kind of a fun little episode.
This is a fun episode. I'm looking forward to it. And last week we had a very different
Yes, we
episode.
did. We had a different experience, which was really good for us because it took us out of our own element, if you will.
Yes, we were on someone else's podcast.
Yes.
Which we then shared with all of y'all, but it was Adventure Creators Podcast.
Yes.
And so he interviewed us, and it was, I think we were a little shy to start with. It was very long. It was a lot about
long.
us.
And because we don't know Kyle that well, I mean, he's someone that's been an acquaintance for us in the industry, but you know, he's not an industry person per
Right.
se, but he has a connection that we, you know, somehow all got connected with through the design center. But anyhow, yeah, so we were getting to know one another, and we were actually in his studio, and his Adventure Creator podcast talks about just entrepreneurs, their stories, you know, where they came from, how they landed on what they're doing now, et cetera, et cetera. And so ours was really long.
Ours was really long. And he
Because there's
said,
two of us. It was double long.
That's true. And he did say that his go an hour or two, and we went 2 hours.
We went 2 hours.
A little shocking, but
So
it went fast.
Yeah, if
for
you guys
us.
got bored or what have you, you know, it's one of those things where it's hard to chop an episode up like that. So we just said, okay, you can listen to it, come back to it, whatever you want to do. But
Yeah.
we enjoyed it.
We enjoyed it, but we're not doing a long one.
No, we're doing a short one today.
We're short format.
We're going to
so
save your souls today.
We are. And we're having wonderful sangria that Dixie
yeah.
is an expert at.
I always make a good sangria.
You
I
do.
know we did this last year. And you know
Yep.
what? Perhaps we do this every year.
Well, I would think so. It's a summer drink,
It's
and we haven't
such a
had it in
summer
ages,
delight.
and it's beautiful, and you can stuff it with all sorts of goodies.
It is the prettiest color.
It
It's
is
like this rich, yummy, I don't know.
I know you can make a white
Delicious, great
sangria, but
color.
I really like this.
You can. Yeah. I always just put a pitcher in the fridge, and it's a bottle of wine and, you know, whatever fruit you want to put in there, and a little simple syrup or sugar. And, you know, what do I say it wrong? Not how do you say it?
Cointreau.
Cointreau. I call it Cointreau.
Cointreau.
Well, you know, it's easier for me
Sounds
to
like
pronounce.
contraband.
It totally does. But yeah, it's not that. Anyways, it's delightful, and I'm glad to be sipping on it. So there you have it. You know.
Good. So this is book club week, and it's not really a book.
No, we're going to throw you guys a curveball today. We chose to do the bulletin that's issued biannually by F. Schumacher. So it's really kind of people that are interior designers and in the trade, they know about this.
They've seen it in the showroom.
Seen it in the showroom. They may have just been mailed a copy because they have an account with F. Schumacher. But for whatever reason, we felt like this was something that all design curious people need to know about.
Well, and as the Shelter magazine thing sort of constricts more and more, I think this is a nice little perk me up kind of magazine that we've liked all of them, but for whatever reason, this one's particularly sparkling and beautifully photographed, and I just think you'll love it. So we're going to give them to you if you want one and can't get your hands on one because you're not in the design industry. We're going to send them out, but you have to sort of jump on it.
You do have to jump on it. So what we had planned to do is just kind of briefly go through this today, and then we have a short little preview that you'll post on social media for us, won't you, Annie?
Yes, I will.
And basically, if you will DM us or email us through our website, designsalvation.com, or if you're on Instagram, it's at design.salvation. Send us your address, send us your interest, and we will actually mail a copy out to you.
With a little tiny prize, maybe.
Yeah, maybe a little prize. You never know, little this or that. But this publication is one of those things that, I don't know, it just feels like you're like a design insider when you look at it.
I think it's pretty special. And you talked to Jay at the showroom here locally.
Yeah, he's our outside rep.
The Dixon showroom. And he did a great job getting us some copies. And then I DM'd Tori Malott, who's the style director at Schumacher. And if you don't follow her, she's hilarious.
Oh, her personal sense of humor.
Her personal one. Oh, she's so funny. And she has the cutest little twins that we all love. And then at Schumacher 1889 is the Instagram handle that's also super great. And they've started a whole series on interviewing top designers in their homes, which is a real fun walkthrough.
Yeah, you were just talking about that. You were like, hey, did you see the one on? And I was like, no, I hadn't even seen that yet. But they just seem, so Dara is the editor, correct?
Yes, she's editor-in-chief of the Bulletin.
Yeah.
And she brings a real freshness that is surprising. I think Schumacher is moving in a direction that's super current, and they're ahead of a lot of the other fabric lines in terms of just embracing the times, the new economy, what's happening in design, how it needs to be more approachable for all y'all who aren't in the industry.
Exactly. It's funny, when I was visiting with Jay, our sales rep, he gave me a couple of very interesting tidbits, one of which is that Schumacher a while back brought in their management team, I guess is what, or their more executive team. They brought in a new group, and they're more from the business side than they are from the design industry. And then that allows, I think, Dara to do the creative and, the industry related messaging and what have you, but they're treating their whole business differently. And you and I are noticing it. We had a whole conversation about, hey, F. Schumacher's kind of got their pulse on the industry and on the design and what actually is needed. And as a result of this, they're opening up a lot of their visuals, so everything from this bulletin to having a really good online blog.
To being able to subscribe to the bulletin.
To being able to subscribe. All of that stuff is available now to, the design curious end user. And that's a big move. Because
I think it's so right, and it's so necessary. It's one that you and I have been talking about forever, but I think that a lot of the textile manufacturers just move at a glacial pace and aren't quite recognizing where they need to live. And I think this is just ideal.
I think it's fantastic. I think the more that everybody is aware of luxury and luxury products and goods, the better it is for the industry and for our lives and our well-being and the beauty that we, fulfill our souls with. But, there's still very much to the trade. And they still protect the trade. So, no one can just get pricing and no one can just order on their own. It's still to the trade. And so they value the interior design profession, but they're also offering up, an insight into the beauty of the world.
They want
and
y'all to see what's available and what's out there.
Really,
and I also love within the bulletin this time they enclosed their new collaboration with Matuk, which is that how you say it?
I say Matuk because I'm a hick.
Matuk. Well, that's what I say. Isn't that the same?
I don't know. I say it probably wrong.
I probably do too. But anyway, it's the beautiful sheets and comforters and bedding, and they've taken some of it's very neutral tones and more modern, and then some of it's a little
with
more
their patterns.
It's lovely.
The collaboration's lovely. And back to my conversation with Jay, he talked about how F. Schumacher, instead of going after those high-profile interior designers to come up with a collection, they have flipped their kind of motivations towards the boutique industry craftsmen and workrooms. So they're tapping into the embroidered looking handcrafted, artisan
or the
type
hand
products.
printing linens or something. Those things that are so. I love that focus. That's something you and I are going to try in the next year to bring out some really special people that we think work beautifully with their hands and create beauty that's on a really small, specific level that we want you all to be able to access.
Yes, all of that, and they've tapped into that, and I think that's very intriguing as well. But back to the actual bulletin itself. Okay, first of all, the cover is these beautiful butterflies,
which gorgeous.
Is like so beautiful, which is of course
I think this
related
would be,
to their
like
textiles.
You said, this would be great just in a guest room.
Well, yeah, you could put this in a guest room. You could put this on your coffee table because it's attractive, the whole thing. And if you're glancing through this, it really focuses on just all different types of decorating, and they're kind of bringing decorating back into the foreground, pretty things. But then it does a little twist and it goes into textile design and who are the women that have led textile design through the century. And then it taps into architecture. And so I just think it's so cool because the architecture is super modern.
And it is super modern. And then it taps into gardens.
And then it goes into gardens. And they actually focus on Stephen Sills' garden. And usually you see his house. You're not usually seeing the garden. And of course, Annie and I love his potting shed. Yeah. But anyways, so.
Well, we love all of it. And I have a story about Stephen Sills.
Oh, you do?
Yes. It's yes.
You tell.
Okay, so
I love this. It's a story on someone else, not a confession for us, right? Okay.
It would be. Okay. I think that Stephen, because as this much time has passed, would be fine with us, and it is out there in the public. This is not a secret story or some. I was at a cocktail party with him, and no, it's not that. It's out there. You can access this story too. But in 1995, when Shelter Mags were still really
strong,
going strong, it's really about finding the right house and publishing it.
Of course. And that was your portfolio.
Yeah, it was a big deal.
That's before the internet got really popular.
Vogue magazine, Anna Wintour.
Oh, yeah.
She went to Stephen and Ford. Well, they were together at the time, Sills Hunniford.
Yes.
And she said, I want to publish your house. The one that's published in this edition.
It's the same house, okay.
Yeah, and she devoted 10 pages to her December issue to this. Big deal, right? Anna Wintour.
That's huge.
Is huge. Okay, little problem. A week before the Vogue December edition was to come out and hit the newsstands, Elle Decor hit the newsstands, and the cover was this house. And they devoted 8 pages to it. Plus the cover.
Okay, wait. How did that happen?
Well,
I don't remember any of this.
So, Anna Wintour, she's scary.
You
don't
like
cross her. Yes.
She's something. Like,
she is something.
I bet she was beyond.
Well, apparently she closed the door to her office on the 13th floor and just went on and called them and went on a terror rage and said, I'm not taking their calls anymore. I think since then they've patch things up. One would hope. But
how did this happen?
Stephen has said that it was a very bad mistake, but I think they were a little flattered by all the attention. And according to him, they thought it was going to be a little less of a story in Elle Decor. It was about slipcovers. But how wouldn't you know if they're in there photographing? And here's the other thing. Maison and Jardin, which is a French magazine that I always got too, they photographed it too. All 3 magazines photographed it within a 10-day period. And it was Karl Lagerfeld who came and did the photography. And it was such a chic space, and everyone was so excited about it, but they overexposed it.
Yes, they did. Well, okay, this is crazy. That is like the biggest fox paws ever.
I know.
Well, so now it is such a big deal. We've talked about this before. You cannot double publish.
You can't even put it out on Instagram unless it's some little close-up.
It is considered any photographs that are taken of a project are considered published if they are on your website, if they are on Instagram, if, there's so many publications that will not take it if it's already been exposed. I mean, I'm surprised that, I guess the lesson learned that they would have to disclose that it had been published otherwise.
You would have to, I would think you would sign.
Maybe a lot of times there's a contract. Yeah.
I'm surprised, but I know at the time the AD editor was Paige Rance, and she said, I would have just killed them. I would have just flat out kill. Because even if that happened today, it would be just
still be bad. It would still be bad that all of those publications at the same time would come out with that.
Yeah, and I don't think, Marion McAvoy was the editor of Elle Decor at the time. I mean, I don't think she probably knew either, but
no, she didn't.
She was pretty happy that it was a week before.
That theirs came out first?
Yeah.
That's really great.
And her claim was, the onus should be on the magazine to present it in a fresh way. But I don't know how you do that in a 10-day period without
no, of course not.
But I've always loved, particularly the guest house has always been this iconic room that's been photographed a million times.
Yes.
And it was really a little bit groundbreaking then. It was.
Yeah,
it was. And it still continues to look phenomenal. I mean, he uses that house as his little laboratory.
He does.
And it's quite phenomenal.
But, it's kind of funny because there were a lot of, I can think of this property and I can think of a couple of others that back in the 80s and 90s, you would see double publication. You really would. Mm-hmm. But now that is just such a no-no.
Yeah.
And I think there's more people in the industry and there's more at large. And then there's just an awareness now because there's less shelter magazines and fashion house magazines and, all of that.
So, I don't think this would happen quite the same way again.
Oh, man.
Woo, but okay, Marion McAvoy, I just want to add one little thing because I want to shout out to one of our wonderful listeners.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Who's this?
Maura.
Okay.
And she's just a very, very supportive listener. And
I love that.
Thank you. And she cooks in her gorgeous kitchen and listens to us occasionally, apparently.
Okay.
Fairly often.
Okay.
I know, bless her heart. And she has a beautiful Instagram. She's one of my favorite Instagrammers. So and most of you probably follow her, M.O. Andres. So it's ENDRES. Yes. And so she knows Marion McAvoy personally, who's a very friendly IGer. Thank you very much. She's she's accessible, which I love.
I do too.
And Marion, she sent Marion a couple of our posts because we did the shell thing.
Yes,
and
we
Marion
sure did.
had her whole house done years ago with these fabulous shells. She just did it with her glue gun. And so I posted some of those throwback pictures. And and Maura forwarded them, and Marion was honored.
Oh,
and so I had a little chat with her, DM'd with her, and she was charming.
That.
So
I love that.
I know. I appreciate
That's fantastic.
I hadn't tagged her in them because you know how you're a little shy about.
I'm very shy on Instagram. That's an understatement.
True. I shouldn't be talking to you, but I was just like, I should have tagged her, and I just thought, she doesn't want to be bothered with a little podcast. It was not. I should have. I said it was her stuff, but I didn't tag her, so she
didn't tag her.
See her.
Did you? Well, I guess you're really good about researching, but you know what? Now you've made a connection.
I know.
That's fantastic.
And now she does this wonderful. Instead of the shells, she does this wonderful. I don't know if I pronounce it right, but it's corcolage, which is building little topiaries with corks from wine, and it's so cute. And then she also does these gorgeous botanicals.
She's quite creative.
Understated. She has the cutest little workroom too.
Oh,
anyway, charming.
I love that you made that connection.
Oh, it's fun.
Oh, that's fantastic. It's always fun when our listeners and our supporters are reaching out to us. I think that's part of the reason we're like, okay, you've got to email us or you've got to DM us with your address so that we can send you one of these bulletins.
Yeah, we like connecting with you. We're not trying to bribe you. Oops, sorry,
we kind of are trying to bribe you. No, I'm kidding.
We really aren't.
No.
Okay,
we won't do anything beyond sending you goodies.
No,
that's it.
We don't have anything else to send you.
No, we don't have anything. Yeah, there you go.
So David Leibovitz, we did his book a few weeks ago.
Still refer to that.
Yeah, Drinking French. Love it. And so Lulu and I, it was my mom's birthday recently on July 18th.
Nice.
And she passed away ages ago, but we wanted to do something to honor her. So we went to David Leibovitz's website, and he has a wonderful souffle. And my mom always made souffles. So we decided to bake our first souffle. I've done one ages ago, but Lulu had never made one. And she was in charge of it, and she made a gorgeous souffle. I highly recommend the recipe. And you could just literally Google David Leibovitz souffle, and it'll come up.
And have it pop out.
It's delicious.
Okay, so what was in it?
Well, Lulu was a little frustrated with the recipe because he's kind of loosey-goosey.
I know,
and she's not. She's learning to cook, and
so
she's fabulous. But she was a little
bit more of a tighter recipe.
Yes, and it's the first time I've seen her a little bit stressed in the kitchen. Like I said, "Hey, babe, how's it going?" She's like, "I this recipe, blah, blah, blah." It turned out beautifully. So it had Gruyere in it and a little Parmesan and I don't know, eggs and some herbs.
That would stress me out. I don't think I could do that. But anyways, good to know that it was a hit.
It was a hit. I would totally make it again and maybe change up the cheese and or mix or something. There are lots of ways to do it. Or throw something.
You can totally mix
protein in there if you wanted to too.
I think I'm just going to stick to sangria. I'm not going to worry about that one bit.
And you can come over
and then I can come over and have some souffle. That's so great.
I'm the worst friend ever because your birthday present hasn't arrived.
Oh, for crying out loud.
So we haven't celebrated.
Oh, for crying out loud. There is no need for celebration.
We are celebrating.
We celebrate every week.
I know.
Because we get together.
But this is the 50th and it's fun to celebrate. I'm
did
saying
you have
it out
to
loud.
say that?
Yes.
Oh, my Lord.
I've already passed that hurdle. So
I know. So it's so easy for you. But
and one of the things I love is that you and I are showing a little more gray. I think it's trending. We're trendy.
We are. Is that what you call it? I don't know what you call it. Maybe we're all trending because we're all without our hair.
Or we've decided that.
Yeah, we intentionally said, "Hey, we're gonna
like it.
Play with this a little bit." So it's gonna be kind of fun.
My husband likes it even.
Okay, well, if he does,
yours doesn't.
I don't think he has an opinion.
Maybe he can't see it.
Maybe he can't see it. I don't know. Maybe he doesn't have an opinion. Well, we're so excited that we can send these bulletins out to whoever wants them and share a little bit of, designer insight and again, something lovely. This has the most beautiful pictures in it, and it's got lovely.
I like the introduction by Dara.
Oh yeah, Dara does a good job. She talks about how her house is not perfect either.
Yeah, what do you know?
And you can add just one little thing, or you can work on it slowly and.
She brought home, I think she said she was traveling and it always just feels so good to come home, which we all know is true.
Isn't that true?
And then she brought a keepsake home, which was an antique frame. Yeah. And now she's the caretaker.
Yeah, and I like that language.
I like
caretaker.
That language.
You're now the caretaker. I think that's so true, especially in dealing with antiques, which we both love. But this is a good one. And I encourage you guys to reach out to us. And we'll send you a copy.
Yay. Okay. Very fun.
Very fun. All right. We'll talk to you next week. Ciao for now.
Ciao for now.
Hey, y'all. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. You can also find us at designsalvation.com, where we'll have the past podcasts listed as well as show notes. Hope to see you there.
Oh, we haven't even blooped.
No, we haven't even blooped lately, but I'm trying to get this mic figured out. So anyways, we haven't done any outtakes in a while, but okay. I'll quit fiddling with it. Are you ready?
I'm ready. I've got my drink.
I know.
I'm good.